The indie horror game outselling COD on Steam. Bad news for the Knights of the Old Republic remake, and the League esports scene goes wild. I'm Ash Dixon and this is GINX News. Man, sometimes I really love the gaming scene, because while publishers splash out tens of millions of dollars on AAA live service titles that nobody asked for, some random indie dev turns up, releases an unknown game, and then suddenly dominates the charts. Well, co-op horror game Lethal Company is taking over Steam. It's following in the footsteps of BattleBit and Phasmophobia, and at a very reasonable $10, it's currently sat at number 1 on the Steam top sellers chart, impressively ahead of Call of Duty and Starfield. Who am I kidding? Of course it's above Starfield. So what's special about Lethal Company? Well, it ticks a load of boxes. It's 4-player co-op, so you can play with your friends, and it's a horror game, so you can scream with your friends. The idea is that you're a team scavenging resources from abandoned moons on behalf of a callous, greedy corporation, obviously. The problem is, you're not the only one on these moons, and let's just say, the inhabitants don't want to be your friends.
There's something in that room, by the way, across the way.
It's something at the doorway.
Well, on top of trying not to concern your neighbours, teamwork is also very important in Lethal Company. The game is based on rounds, and what you're holding is the only thing you can take between them. Plus, these corporate overlords have a quota, and that needs to be met, adding an intense time limit to the game. Better still is the proximity voice chat, allowing you to not only communicate with your team, but also enjoy their sudden demise when they get attacked. It's always fun when you're playing with Scooby-Doo. I'd love to know what you think though. Perhaps you've given Lethal Company a go. Would you recommend it? Maybe us over here at GINX should give it a go. Let us know in the comments down below. The Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is reportedly no longer in development. Yes, according to Giant Bomb reporter Jeff Grubb, the game has been shifted around by publisher Embracer Group to various studios, none of which are currently making it happen. He said, "I just want to clear it up. This game is not being worked on right now. Full stop. This game is not being worked on in any way at any studio." The rumour was that it got taken away from Aspyr, which has done a lot of Star Wars remasters, and then moved over to Saber Interactive. There have been rumours that it's been moved elsewhere since then. Initially billed as a collaboration between Aspyr, Lucasfilm Games and Sony, the game was announced as a timed PS5 console exclusive during a PlayStation showcase back in 2021. But it's basically been downhill since then. On top of the constant developer switches, Sony recently unpublished social media posts and the reveal trailer claiming issues with expired music licenses. And according to Grubb, Sony now want absolutely nothing to do with it. Unfortunately for them, their logo is very much plastered all over the only trailer we still have. It's a real shame for fans of Kotor and Star Wars in general. Many consider the game, originally developed by BioWare, to be the best Star Wars game ever made. A remake seemed like a perfect idea to bring the excellent story and writing to a brand new audience, add on the nostalgia factor, and man, would that bad boy sell. Sadly though, it seems the game is a very long way off, and if I'm being honest, I'm not sure it will even happen at all. We don't always chat about esports on this show, don't get me wrong. I love me some competitive gaming, but each scene is kind of its own niche bubble, and you know, we try and make this show for everyone. Except George, who's editing today. Screw you, George. You know what you did. Well, yesterday we kind of had to talk about League of Legends, as this year's finals at Worlds broke all-time records for viewership. Rather impressive stuff considering the esports is free-falling faster than a skydiver with a parachute made of lead. Well, within the last 24 hours, just a whole ton of stuff has gone down in the League scene, so I thought I'd attempt to condense it all down into a nice, accessible, bite-sized segment I called Speedrun or something, I don't know. Well, first up, despite Worlds doing well, it's been rather juxtaposed by the struggles of the North American scene, and now it's been announced that their league, the LCS, has been downsized from 10 teams to 8. And that means the mutually agreed departure of Golden Guardians and Evil Geniuses, which is interesting because Golden Guardians literally just had their very best season and have now dipped. Meanwhile, EG briefly joined the league, mistreated their star NA player, dropped their whole new roster out of nowhere, and have now just peaced out, really putting the evil in Evil Geniuses. And the worst part is, it seems no one bothered to tell the players that this was going to happen. Former Golden Guardians top laner Licorice has tweeted out that he's literally heard the news the same morning and is now teamless going into 2024, which is crazy because the dude is on form right now. Moving across the pond, and the European star player Reckless is making the surprise move to Korea. He was famously one of the best AD carries in the region before suddenly transitioning to the support role, and now he's joined the academy team of T1, the organisation that just won Worlds. And it's super rare for Western players to join a Korean team. Normally it's the EU and NA teams poaching the talent from Korea and China. But then again, this guy does have a massive fan base, so that may have swayed T1. Meanwhile, they've also announced that Kokoma is back as a coach. He famously led the team during a particularly dominant era. Alongside their much-loved draft coach Tom, they're in good stead going forward. But it doesn't stop there, because there seems to be a mass exodus happening in Korea right now. GINX have suddenly released a ton of players and coaches, KT2, and with so many players up for grabs, it looks like we'll be getting a proper shake-up going into 2024. The game itself is getting some rather interesting and curious changes too, so who knows, the game still might have some legs yet. Let me know what you think though. Has all of this got you excited about the league scene? Perhaps you have some roster predictions. Let us know in the comments down below. Every now and then a new game comes along and makes you think, man, how has this not been done before? And that's exactly how I felt after discovering Furious Farm Total Reap-Out, the arcade-style combat racing game featuring combine harvesters. What a fantastic combination of words. Gameplay-wise, it sees 8 players battle it out as they try to reap fields and destroy each other in the process, setting fires, flinging tyres, outright theft, and manipulating the grain stock value are all fair game here. But what particularly got me was the retro soundtrack of the trailer. I mean, it's just so intense. And why is it so loud? Can you even hear me right now? Is that a panda driving a combine harvester? What's happening? George, stop the clip! Stop the clip! Okay, right, well, that's out on Steam if you do want to give it a go. Also, a heads up that the trailer does finish with the strangest voiceover I think I've ever heard.
Oh, welcome to Furious Farm. You're just in time for reaping season. Well, get on then. Climb until you're combined.
Like, what is he even saying? Did they pay someone to do that? Like, so many questions. And so little time, because that is the show. If you're still with us, well, I hope you're doing okay. Do give us a like and subscribe. Check out yesterday's news somewhere around here, and we'll see you tomorrow.